Hi and welcome back to the Medapply YouTube channel. In today's video, we have a first-year medical student, Vivek, speak to us about his experiences taking a gap year and what are some of the reasons why maybe you should consider taking one too. Please enjoy Vivek's talk.
Hey guys, my name's Vivek and I'm a first-year medical student at St Andrews University. Welcome to this video on taking a gap year. Now, a gap year might not be one of the things at the top of your minds for most of you listening to this at the moment, but it's something that's becoming much more common now, especially with the pandemic, as much more people have been wanting a more social start to university with more in-person teaching. And in recent years, medical schools have accommodated to this. There are a multitude of reasons why some people might choose to take a gap year, but there are two overarching main ones. The first reason is time. So some people, after a long slog of 3 or 4 years of constant exams, just want to take a break. And in most people's eyes, taking a break just after A levels is the most logical time. So wanting to relax just before you start medical school, a 5 or 6 year course, would mean that you don't have to take a break straight after medical school, where you might be forced to go into foundation training. And further to that, you might have 10 or 15 years of specialist training after that. And taking a break then and coming back into medicine might be slightly harder. So this point, for most people, is the easiest time to just relax before jumping straight into a career that you need to devote yourself to. You might also want to take some time off just to reevaluate and check if medicine is the right career for you. So as I said, it's such a long course and there's so much teaching and learning involved before you do get to a point where you might be happy with yourself. So making this decision and making sure you make the right decision is important, and you can take some time to do that. On top of this, some people might just want to reapply because they're not happy with the medical school they have gotten into, or unfortunately, you might have not received any of the offers that you have applied for in universities. So taking this time to reapply or even retake some A-level subjects might be the way forward for you. The second reason is to do something that you enjoy. So before you throw yourself into a career of looking after people and helping people, looking after yourself and doing something that you enjoy yourself might be something that you want to do. A lot of people, just before they go to university, do just want some life experience to help themselves become a better person, and they just want to learn something about themselves before they do eventually go and start studying and go to university. So this is the perfect time to do that as well. For me, the reason I took a gap year was because I realized around August that I do want to remain in this profession, and I was happy with the subject that I've applied for. But when I looked into place I wanted to go to, which was St Andrews, it just hit me suddenly just how far it was and just how much of a leap of faith it was just to suddenly move away for a couple of years and start learning. And I guess I wanted that time to reevaluate myself and see if I can really make it. And I wanted to see if St Andrews was the right place for me, or if I wanted to just reapply to a few other places. So I sat down and made a list of every single place that I might want to go to or visit before I go on a gap year. So I made sure to plan out my gap year before I went on it. One thing I'd been doing for a few years before I even started applying to medical school was volunteering. I'd raised a few sums of money for various charities inside and outside my school life, and that's something I wanted to continue. I realized that next step for me was probably going abroad and volunteering there. So I decided that was what I was going to do more volunteering over my gap year. Went ahead, and for the first half of my gap year, I volunteered in various places like the Samaritans, who I still volunteer for, who are a mental health calling up service. And I volunteered for a number of different charities doing fundraisers as I had before. So there were charities such as one called Human Appeal, which helps out people in deprived countries outside the UK. I also made sure to save up for the first half of my gap year so I could go abroad, and I ended up volunteering for nearly 2 months in a special needs school teaching English. Unfortunately, my other excursion abroad, which would have lasted 10 weeks, had to be cancelled. So I made sure to use my resources and my initiative and help out people during lockdown by giving out food parcels to those who needed it and having conversations with people at their doorstep and delivering books to help facilitate the library delivery service in my borough to keep things going and make sure people are doing okay over the pandemic. So my top tips for taking a gap year are as follows. My first top tip is to make sure you have a goal. So having a target or something in your mind that you're striving towards, something that you need to make sure you establish before you start your gap year. I sat down at the beginning of August, and after I'd written my list, I thought to myself about what I really wanted out of this gap year. And what I realized was I just wanted some more independence and to learn a bit more about myself before I did go on to university, and made sure I tried my best to become a doctor. Second top tip is to make sure you plan what you're going to do in your gap year. So I made a list of everything I really liked doing and everything I wanted to do. Then I underlined things that I definitely was going to do. And over my year, I ticked off all of these things and really enjoyed myself. So make sure you don't waste your year. You need to spend your year in a way that helps you find out a bit more about yourselves and helps you become a better person. My third and final tip is don't be scared. Taking a gap year because you want to enjoy yourself and you want to do something that helps you reach that end goal that you're striving for. So don't think about all those things that are putting you off. So going to a foreign country, to a place where they might not speak the language, and just willing your phone to not run out of charge as you found the place you were staying for your first night is something that can never be replicated. And I think doing that for myself was something that I really loved, and I learned so much about just everything around me. And it's something that I'd really recommend to do, whatever stage of life you're on. Make sure you do go out and go abroad if that is your thing. And if that's not your thing, make sure to use your initiative and do something that you do enjoy, as I did in lockdown and helped out in my community. In the end, I decided not to reapply, and I realized why I love St Andrew so much. It was the town, it was the teaching, and the fact that it was quite a small university, and I loved how cozy it was. So I used my time to figure that out, and I reached my end goal where I did find out a lot about myself. I learned about the world, gained some life experience, and I ended up at a university I want to go to. So if you are considering a gap year, or if you want to learn some more about it, hopefully that gave you some tips and tricks. If you want to learn a bit more, make sure to go to our forum and ask a question where hopefully I can answer it for you, or someone else will as well from the Medapply team. And good luck. Thanks for watching.